Hey guys, Spartan here, welcome back to more Risk of Rain. So I've had 2 failed recordings, which is why I haven't uploaded in a fair while. I know I wanted to record more of this, but yes. I changed a few settings just to try and optimize the game to make it freeze less often when I pick up items. I don't think I've actually managed to do that, but I have lessened the impact, so the game looks slightly worse. I've only lowered really dynamic lighting and stuff like that, but should not be very noticeable. So we've got the option of the mercenary, the artificer, the engineer, the huntress, multi, and my god, he still makes a huge noise when doing that. Or the good old commando. You know, the first time I did engineer was actually like the actual last video I made, but last time I didn't actually get any bustling fungus, so it was like really weird. And why is the engineer gone? Whatever, I'll try again just to see if I can pull off that bustling fungus builds that I wanted to do before. Supposedly, except not really, because as you may notice you have been baited and I am playing as the bandit instead, who is actually not in the game, technically. So, yep, bandit. Bandit is in the game's files. He doesn't work completely fine yet, but he works relatively the same as he did in the original Risk of Rain, and he is in the files here, so if you have Cheat Engine, you can actually play as him with pretty much no consequences except for the fact that he only has 3 working skills. So, he still has lights out from the original game, which, as you would have known if you played the original Risk of Rain, resets all your cooldowns if you get a kill with it. So eventually, that becomes your primary attack. His single primary attack is an 8-shot gun, and it actually, instead of just recharging 1, it charges all 8, but you need to wait for it to reload. So you can either wait and let it recharge, or you could, you know, use lights out or something like that. Let's use a Shrine of Combat. So he has his smoke bomb, which does the same, pretty much everything it did before. You know, go invisible and deal damage and stun if you come out near an enemy. The only downside with the bandit is that his 4th skill, his dynamite, does not actually work, and wow, rest in peace Lemurian just jumped off the map suicidally. Oh, good point. Jackpot. So bandit is actually really fast and has a very high skill ceiling. As you can see, I'm failing miserably. But yes, backup magazine and lens makes glasses. Pretty much crowbars, actually, are probably the best. And I'm playing absolutely atrociously. There we go, that's how you play the bandit. Just chain lights out together. So yeah, his 4th skill, the dynamite, is actually just this weird fire thing. Since he isn't properly in the game, I expect this to be changed relatively quickly if he does get into the game. He should be able to. And the fire does do some damage, it isn't completely useless, it's just does nothing comparatively to his other skills, and doesn't really stack with items, so there's no point to using it. He's of course very fast because his smoke bomb gave him speed boost in the original, and it still does, and it doesn't break sprint, so that can be an important deciding factor. It's like Old War Stealth Kit, except it's reliable. Also, I'd like to point out that the bandit is the 2nd actual ranged unit that has to aim. Aside from the commando, all the other characters really don't. Multi, that's his name in this game. Kind of has to, but not really, because his nail gun is like a machine gun, so you can just use it close range. He half has to aim. My god, that move is so terrible. Playing bandit really makes you miss the old bandit from Risk of Rain 1 with the... oh, that's not a wisp, that's my own fire. The dynamite was kind of like his main attack, really. Actually, no, that's a straight up lie. His bloody lights out was always his kind of primary skill, really. It just did so much damage. Another thing to kind of take note of in like the future is if they bring back the staff, or whatever it was called, it will not affect lights out because lights out is his secondary skill, not his 4th skill, so it's a bit strange because dynamite was his secondary before. I guess now his lights out works with backup magazine, but generally the secondary skill is what you use for crowd control, so His crowd control is like non-existent. Actually didn't mean to buy a healing drone there, I thought it was like a chest or a barrel or something. Oh, by the way, another tiny detail is the bandit kind of sucks against bosses because while his damage is pretty good with the whole rapid fire, it's not auto fire, you have to mash click, which you may hear in the video, but he really has no good boss killing abilities. He doesn't have a multi-shot like, you know, the Commando has. Doesn't have some sort of glaive like the Huntress has. Lights Out does do a lot of damage, but it really isn't that much when you consider the fact that it's on a pretty long cooldown, 7 seconds. I guess it's lucky that I'm picking up all these armor-piercing rounds, because otherwise I would kind of fail against bosses. Alright, let's fight the boss. Let's see who it is. I'm guessing Stone Titan, but Stone Titan wouldn't actually be the worst boss to fight because it has such a big hitbox. Also, I can do this, so I'm just going to escape out of his line of sight, because stealth now completely breaks the line of sight and effectiveness of good old Stone Titan's abilities. That was convenient. I believe you can only have one of these fires out at once as well. I don't think it really matters though. I just love it when the boss is actually trying to focus on my drone that I mistakenly bought. You see, that's how much damage he's taking. He's taking so little damage from that fire. It's like it's not even an attack. Nice freeze. Did he just get hit by that twice? That was odd. Now this is how you play Bandit properly. Forget the rifle, he's just using that little pistol he's got there. Must be a pretty powerful pistol if you can actually kill them fairly reliably. Oh, so there's one of the buttons I was talking about in all the other videos. Unfortunately I have no way to actually press them both down, so I guess I can't show that off this episode. And until I get, like, teammates, or something like that, or I decide to play some online play. You know what? Online play I can't trust the randos, because, like, they're pretty useless, honestly. Maybe it's just because I have high standards, I don't know. But yes, I don't trust the randoms online because they do shit like take all the bustling fungus if they're not engineer. Like, who does that? Speaking of bustling fungus, I immediately get bustling fungus. I mean, there's no reason not to pick it up. I don't know why it's growing on his gun, of all things, but I mean, it'd be that way. Also, you can play Bandit online in online matches, but it takes a lot of setup. Like, you don't use Cheat Engine for that, you use something else. But considering the fact that mods in Risk of Rain are actually not that bad in terms of development for how long this game's been out. I mean, it's still in early access, so the fact that you can have... I saw a gif of someone who was modded in the castle, like Peach's castle from Super Mario 64. So, yeah, it's actually looking pretty good so far. Here we go, backup mag. That should help greatly. Oh wait, I need to recharge first. I keep forgetting that getting backup mag doesn't actually fill you with a second charge of your secondary skill immediately. So, something interesting about Lights Out is that it refills all of your abilities. So if you have 2 charges of your secondary, then you can just recharge both of them at the same time with 1 kill. Really damn useful, making Bandit probably the best person to stack a bunch of backup magazines on. Which, I mean, the game is being kind and giving a bunch to me right now, so it knows. It's convenient timing at its finest. You see that? I just got 3 charges easily. I forgot to mention that since the primary fire is not like auto fire, it's actually on press, then Soldier Syringe doesn't actually affect it, and that's the fucking glowing meteorite. You know what? I have absolutely no AoE, So I might as well run Glowing Meteorite, even though this is like one of the worst items in the game. What Glowing Meteorite does is it rains down meteorites and it hits everything. Not just enemies, but also you and your teammates if you're playing online. So pro tip, if you have Glowing Meteorite and you have an engineer on your team, do not use this item at all because you will destroy their turrets with how much burst damage you deal. I just realized I have a crap ton of money. I've been either running slowly through this level or there's just been nothing worth money. Yeah, I found no shrines, I just realized. Time for Glowing Meteorite. Make sure to watch the ground when you are using the meteorite, otherwise you'll feel a lot of pain. And I really need to kill some weak enemies with this, otherwise I'm not going to be getting my charges back very quickly. Thankfully for if you're playing on online mode, the meteorite has a really long cooldown time. Because usually you don't want your teammates using it. I mean, it has its uses, but they're not very good ones. And that 1 second pause is kind of the reason why you die in online mode. So one strategy that you can employ while playing as the Bandit is to find a backup magazine 3D printer and just funnel all your items into that, because if you have like 20 shots of the lights out, odds are that eventually you're going to get a kill, and then you refresh all of your shots, so it's not really an issue. Also, thank God that fucking healing drone is dead, because it was just doing nothing. It was just letting the enemies attack and potentially hitting me at the same time. If I can go to the, well actually I am going to the place right now. If I can get a, whatchamacallit, what's the name of the item? Shaped glass, that would be really good. If I could also have Will-o'-the-Wisp spawn on, I guess, Sail as the green item. Because there's always a green and red item here that you can swap items for. And here's some shaped glass. There's actually 2 of them. You know what, let me get both of them. I see very few reasons why not to do this. And I see actually many reasons why not to do it, but... what's this item do? It doesn't matter, I only have 2 green items. But yes, now my damage is quadrupled and my health is down to 1/4. This is not good, which means that I need to get a bunch of personal shield generators, because that's the only item that really helps you stay alive when you have a bunch of shaped glass, because it is not affected by the limitations on your health. Take that. My god, this does so much damage. All I need now is some crowbars in terms of damage, and I think I'll be fine. I mean, when your shots can kill enemies in 1 hit, you don't have to have too much survivability. Just kill everything before you get hit. I kind of need a good aim for this, though. Also like to point out that Infusion is now effective as a personal shield generator. You know what? Using the meteor will most likely kill me in 1 hit, because my damage is quadrupled. Or is it just tripled? I'm not sure. I can't tell exactly how the shaped glass actually stacks. How much damage does a normal shot do? A decent amount. Oh wow, that's like 1/3 of my health in 1 hit. And these are Lemurians, they're not even champion Lemurians. Give me something good. Oh yes, Will-o'-the-Wisp. Perfect, now I actually have crowd control. I wish I had that cube now. Oh well, at least I can go invisible. Hey, here's the crowbar. Well, actually, the crowbar snaps in 2, but, you know, just kidding. Can you die, please? That does a crap ton of damage. I keep forgetting that the crowbar gives, like, how much is it, 30% damage? The only downside to the crowbar is, of course, it only works on enemies above 90% health. And I have no money. Hey, personal shield generator. Beautiful. That's like an extra 1/4 of my current health. Not that much in the long run, but it adds up. Unfortunately, there's no way to actually see the stats of these abilities that the Bandit has, because, of course, he's not actually in the game. He doesn't have his own select thing. Fucking crows, shut up, please. But based on the fact that he was in the original game, I presume that his stats are usually the same. Like, the shot does 150% of base damage, the lights out does 600%, the dynamite would be dealing, like, how much damage would the dynamite be dealing again? It was like 220. These stupid imps, my god. You don't know how painful imps are until you actually have to play a character who needs to aim. There sure are a lot of equipment barrels, but somehow I'm not getting any that are good. And immediately after I get Royal Capacitor, which is possibly the strongest used item, with the exception of the Prion Accumulator. Oh, nice. I got the Rejuvenation Rack. I only recently unlocked this. What it does is doubles your healing. That's literally all it does. Kaboom, 69. So the Royal Capacitor is really good because it does a lot of damage like the Prion Accumulator, except that it recharges a lot faster. I don't even have a fuel cell, it's only like, what, 20 seconds? I may be able to one-shot the boss with, actually I'll deal a lot of damage with it. Won't one-shot it, but... Oh, 7,000 damage. I forget I have, whatchamacallit. Oh, come on, really? Hey, ukulele. Yeah, I have the crowbar and the armor-piercing rounds, so... Yep. Also, the Royal Capacitor does do splash damage, to an extent. It's not massive splash damage, but it is splash damage, which you should never underestimate. Also, the Royal Capacitor doesn't actually visually work with the Bandit, because the Royal Capacitor is supposed to make your character lose their right arm, but he kind of has his right arm. I'll show that off after I killed all these goons. And yes, this run is a lot more manageable now that I have some sort of AoE. Stand still. Oh, Ukulele just one-shotted them all. I forget that Ukulele's damage is based on the attack that actually causes it to proc. So with lights out, that would be a lot of damage. Imagine that with the sniper. But yes, let's have a look at the bandit here, shall we? I just want to activate this so I'm not wasting time. So yeah, you can see he's holding his gun, and he's got half of his arm missing. The Royal Capacitor is protruding from his elbow, as it should be, but he still has half of it, which is odd, because that really makes no sense. Immediate cause fight with greater wisps. Oh, I didn't realize I was on this platform. This is like the worst platform to be on. It's nothing good here. I find it odd, I haven't found a 3D printer yet. I have 4 backup magazines, and like, that's just the best item to generally have with this character. Oh, shut the fuck up. You incompetent enemy. Haha, how's that for wordplay? Pretty terrible, I know, but still. It's free comedy on YouTube, what do you expect? Another will-o-wisp, that's perfect. Surprised how low value a lot of these green items have been in this run so far. Will-o-wisps at least make up for it with massive damage. I recently saw a speedrun for the original Risk of Rain. It was pretty shitty, considering the fact that one of the first items they chose to get was Infusion, and they were running with Glass and Command, so it kind of ruins the purpose. I mean, if you know what all your items are going to be, then, well, I guess to be fair, Command doesn't give you every single item in the game, it only gives you an item of a certain rarity. But still, it's kind of against the spirit of the game. That's kind of like the people who run Isaac and just run that seed that lets you get Brimstone and Tammy's head on Eden. I don't even really need to shoot anymore, these fireworks just do too much damage. More backup mags. What is with all the backup mags? I mean, I'm not complaining, it's just that it's odd that the game is being so generous. Alright, time to one-shot the boss. Actually, Magma Worm has too much health to one-shot, I'm pretty sure. Wow, you got a lot of health. Oh god. Thank god I was able to go into stealth before that ice bomb, like, immobilized me. Take that, Wild Fiend! There's actually... If there's one enemy I hate in this game, it's the crabs. Honestly, a lot of the enemies aren't that bad. Sure, the imps teleport and mess up your shots, but half the characters in the game don't even care about them. The real issue is the crabs. The crabs will get you. They just deal a lot of damage, come out of nowhere and into your life. And they don't even stay near you. They could be halfway across the map and still hit you. One eon of grinding later, we have enough money to actually get the thing we need. And it is Brainstalks. What does this do again? I can pick this up so little time. Skills have no cooldowns for a short period after killing an elite. What the hell is with this map layout? Oh well. It's not the best item, but it's not terrible. It does help. Oh shit, here we go again. Oh my god, immediate Stone Titan. That's not good. Or is it? I don't know. Let me shoot this bitch with my roller capacitor to see how he likes it. Get out of my town! What the hell actually killed it? He took a lot of damage there for no reason. Is that a sticky bomb I attached to him? One of the best combinations with roller capacitor is Gesture of the Drowned, which means that it reduces the cooldown of your item by 50%, but it makes it so that it shoots literally whenever possible. Of course, roller capacitor has a weird thing as you can't shoot it with no target, so if there are no targets in sight, it won't shoot. So basically, you get 50% cooldown and... Okay, I guess my distance isn't that long. You get 50% reduced cooldown, and it only fires on enemies, so it'll still hit things. Most likely dregs, but very useful. Who wouldn't want less cooldown? I don't even know if I should bother adding in Beetle Queen footage, because, like, it doesn't really do anything. I mean, sure, Beetle Queen can be dangerous, like, early game, or if it's a champion, but this Beetle Queen was neither. Just 3 of them. Which isn't even that much of a threat, considering Royal Capacitor takes out, like, half their health. Oh god, I forget about the stupid ice bomb. Ever since they buffed the ice explosion to actually freeze you, it's been a real pain. I mean, I guess that's what they were going for. It wasn't supposed to be something you could just ignore. You know, one of the worst achievements in this game is called the Demons and the Crabs. And what it is you have to take, like, 20 crabs and knock them off a cliff. Unfortunately, this is, like, the only map you can really do that on. And at this stage, you're looping. And since you're looping, that means that... Oh, hang on, what's that, a 3D printer for that I missed? I didn't really notice. Looked like fireworks, though. But yes, there's very little opportunity for you to actually, you know, use, like, kill the crabs, because most of your passes will, like... Yeah, your passes will most likely just kill them, so... It's hard to actually find the crabs. I mean, you saw when I was just looking at that crab, it immediately fired an ATG missile that killed it. It sure seems to have a damn precise hitbox. But yes, the unlock for that is Gesture of the Drowned, which I actually don't have yet, because that achievement is just a pain in my arse. So more of me talking about getting other people on here. So, as you may have known, Dem kind of went, like, and cut all ties with me because of the whole drama that happened. So, don't expect to see him, like, probably ever, actually. Yeah, whatever, can't be helped, I guess. So, I've been trying to get, I mean, actually having Dem, like, do footage with me would kind of suck because of the connection and time zone and stuff like that. So basically, I'm taking an attempt at getting a bunch of people I play with on Overwatch into the game. Hopefully I can get someone from there to assist me. We can have a good time or something like that. Wow, 2 sticky bombs, like, immediately one after the other. I've already sung my praise about how sticky bomb is, like, the best stacking item in the game. Because it boosts both damage and proc chance. It's just insanely good. But yeah, eventually should be able to find someone there who's interested. believe Arjo was... I can probably talk to other people into getting it, like, actually, I don't know who would be a good opportunity. I guess Noodle could. Noodle is probably one of the most close members of the community I'm with, due to the fact that, I mean, he actually sometimes comments on my videos, so it means he does watch them. Hello Noodle, if you're watching this. He's also a pretty good Overwatch player, so I'd expect him to be able to pull off a pretty impressive performance in this game once he gets used to it. If he chooses to. More infusion. One thing I hate about the shaped glass is that it constantly makes it look like you're almost out of health due to the fact that the health bar doesn't fill up all the way. Despite the fact that I pretty much was at full health. Tree, please. Tree! Blocked there by a tree for some reason. It's like the weirdest hitbox in the galaxy. Alright, let's see what you got, People Queen. Again. You know what, I'll include this one in just to show how pathetic Beetle Queen is. Yeah, it just perishes to the power of my lights out spam. And I get Beetle Guard, which is really not very useful. If it doesn't actually increase the damage you're dealing, then what even is it? It's literally just drawing aggro, that's all it does. It's kind of like me playing tank in Overwatch. Actually, that's a straight up lie, I do a lot of damage. Oh, hello there. Silence between two strikes, become an aspect of lightning. This is very good item. This is actually an item that is incredibly rare. In fact, I've only ever seen a certain item of this caliber once before. What this item does is, it actually does nothing on activation, so that means that Fuel Cell has literally no reason to exist on my character currently. Basically, when you shoot an enemy, it attaches a lightning bomb, or if you shoot anything, it attaches a lightning bomb. And that's all it does. It's the effect of the lightning-based champions, and it only drops from them, so you cannot actually get this item from the chest or anything. Meaning, you can go, like, how much time do I have in Risk of Rain 2? I have a lot of time in this game, when considering the fact that this game isn't out for very long. But yes, I've only ever seen the fire version before. Lightning version is new. Lightning version also... does it entail extra shields? Or is that bogus? Of course, I lose the ability to use my runic capacitor, but that shouldn't be that much of a downside. I didn't really need the damage. Wow, I just absolutely destroyed Clay Dune Strider. Also, it effectively turns all my attacks into AoE, finally. Lightning Explosion isn't bad damage either. I believe it actually did set my HP into like some sort of weird shielding phase. Like half my health just got converted to shield or something like that. Okay, so I have the head stompers now, which means the gravity, like, pretty much doesn't exist. If I can get another wax quail, I can probably do the super jumps. Why am I saying probably? I know I can do the super jumps if I get another wax quail. Oh, there we go, there's a super jump out of nowhere. Kaboom! Oh god, camera. Super jump doesn't actually really net you anything. It does boost the damage of your head stomper impact, but head stomper's damage is not something you should rely on, considering the fact that it puts you like in point-blank range of the enemy. Another legendary item. Soulbound Catalyst. That literally serves no purpose because I'm using an item that doesn't have a cooldown. What Soulbound Catalyst is, it kills, reduce the recharge rate of your item. At least I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I haven't picked it up too often, I only just unlocked it. I forget what you even had to do. Oh yeah, here's the TC-280 prototype. It costs a lot, as you can see. And at this stage of the game, it's not worth it because it's a drone. And drones, just late game, are kind of useless unless they're healing drones. And that's only if you actually have like a bunch of rejuvenation max. They don't scale, sadly. Oh my god! Wow. I literally did not pay attention to that stupid little imp. I got killed by the Clang Dune Strider, really? I could have sworn that the imp was the thing that damaged me there. Oh well, why is it that I always die here? That's odd. But whatever, that was Bandit's gameplay. Pretty interesting guy. Also, I'd like to show off my logbook to show what items I actually have unlocked, which I haven't. Demons and the Crabs, which is the whatchamacallit, the Gesture of the Drowned. I haven't unlocked the Berserker's Pauldron because charge the teleporter with less than 10% health is that you need to have less than 10% health when the teleporter has fully charged, not when you start charging it. Which is... it's really hard, really. Yes, really hard, really. Because you need to take a specific amount of damage, and that can be pretty difficult, considering the fact that some enemies just tend to deal all your health or none of it. And the last item is the backup, which I just really don't want. It's not that good of an item, so I haven't bothered to unlock it. Also requires you to repair drones. So here's a little demonstration between the difference between the Prion Accumulator and the Royal Capacitor. Prion Accumulator... wow, I've used that a lot, really. So yep, 600% damage a second with the area of effect, and the shot does 4,000% damage. And the Royal Capacitor is just a single time, deals 3,000%. So, they're both pretty good. I think I used the Royal Capacitor less because it has an unlock condition behind it that's pretty difficult. It was defeat the teleporter bosses after activating 2 Shrines of the Mountains. Yeah, you just didn't find any Shrines of the Mountains. So I'll see you guys in the next video. It may be Risk of Rain still, or it may be something new. I don't know. It depends on what I feel like. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.